and the millions of millions.
And guys, we are live! Welcome everyone to the Hypes Watch reaction to Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4. I'm Jerry the Targaryen McMahon, and we got LT Giles here, and Big Game James Bushell. Fellas, how you feeling tonight after tonight's episode? LT, I know you're always usually feeling good. How you feeling tonight, though?
A lot of the stuff in this episode was alright, was cool, but there was just one thing that pissed me off more than I could comprehend. And it's the ghost thing with Jon sending Ghost North to the wall. That's just so Jon Snow. Like, oh man, I can't forgive it. I cannot forgive it.
For me, there was some good thing. Well, there was a couple good things, not many good things. Some of the minor character stuff, like it's always a good time with Tormund. But aside from that, like the ghost thing didn't bother me as much because show canon wise, the wolves haven't been as established on the show. So just trying to take out the puritanism out of it, it doesn't bother me as much. But there was other things that I just thought was the drizzling shits. So it is what it is.
It wasn't even a heartfelt. I'm sorry, Jerry. It wasn't even a heartfelt goodbye like Arya and Nymeria. Both times when they saw each other, it was just Jon walks and looks at him like he doesn't even give a fuck. And you even hear fucking Ghost go, and then he just looks at him like, "Fuck you, Ghost," and just walks out. He doesn't walk up to him and embrace him and like, and you'll love it over there, boy. Like, why couldn't they have done that? Like, where are they? I'm sorry. I remember we used to say a few seasons ago when we did our reviews, a lot of people would say, I can't even.
Well, that was my biggest issue with this episode was the weird pacing it had, because it had things that they didn't need to have in it. And I felt like they should have spent more time on other things. They should have had Jon give Ghost a heartfelt goodbye. If they were gonna send him off, they could have made it more heartfelt, and they should have had more discussion about Rhaegal dying. Like, that's a big fucking deal. That's like that's half of Dany's dragon power, which makes her the whole reason why she's a threat in the first place. And it was just unceremoniously skipped over. That's my actually biggest problem with the episode.
There was more mourning in that first part with everyone where they're giving the funeral scene. What did you think about that funeral? I mean, there's no funeral for Rhaegal, but there's a funeral for everyone else.
I just like how everyone they have to have like they showed a dead person and then like the corresponding person.
Yeah. But like Jon had like no one, so he was like defaulted to Lyanna Mormont.
Yeah.
Well, I actually think, to be fair about Rhaegal is you don't have the Night King and that chain to pull how he pulled Viserion out of the water. So he's under the water.
It's not even. I didn't even.
Let's talk about the dismissal of pets. Let's just focus on that right now. So, what did you think about the actual killing of him? Like, we know that we read the world Fire and Blood. We know that the way what's her name? Not Visenya, the other one, Rhaenys. We know the one that the way that her and Rhaermax were killed were they shot it with ballistics, but they shot it in the eye where you had to shoot it. There's no eye shot here, and we had Euron coming. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Everyone's coming out of nowhere.
I don't know how the sneak attack happened. Like, I don't know. First off, they're on dragons. They're at an aerial viewpoint. You should be able to see them from the water anyway. But
yeah,
on the dragons
miles away.
And then, what's up with these fucking machine gun ballistics they got? Like, is this?
They're able to load it. Yeah, they're able to load it like instantly.
It's like a cartoon. It's like to me watching this show.
It's a cartoon.
This season, no, like there are great moments, but yeah, it's like a cartoon. It's like Euron is a cartoon villain. Like you see his look he got, and even Cersei. Cersei at the end, the look she's getting, she's It's a cartoon, man.
So the Night King, cartoon villain. Cersei, cartoon villain. Euron, cartoon. Everyone's a cartoon villain.
The only one except it's probably not the Mountain because he doesn't have any facial expression.
Well, even he looks like Dumb Donald from Fat Albert. So yeah, there's a cartoon right there.
That's a good one, Jerry.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the dinner scene where we had everyone yapping about something. We had, Henry randomly getting storms in. We knew that was going to happen because, TV character, Dan and Dave. John people talking about shit like Danny gets angry, everyone's drinking, all kinds of yip yap, and then various scenes that you had the Lannisters with Brienne, you had a sand scene, and then you had Gendry with Stage 5 Klinger. Yeah, so what did y'all think about this whole just dinner scene in a whole? Well, we'll get with the individual scenes tomorrow, but
okay, yeah. It was cool. Like JB said, Tormund's always hilarious with his drinking.
I was fine with it. They could have cut some of it, obviously, to dedicate to more, to some other things that I talked about before. I was gonna say. Oh, it was. It was actually good that they had Sandor and Sansa talk to each other, because that's dumb that they hadn't talked to each other at this point. Like, they should have. So at least they did that. But they could have probably cut a good 5 minutes out of it to devote to a heartfelt goodbye and then talking about Rhaegal dying. So, or I'm sure there was something else they could have cut out too. I don't even remember it all. But
all we got is my baby. From Daenerys, my baby.
My baby.
Remember, she didn't she say something about my baby or something when they were talking?
I thought that was later when Rhaegal. My baby.
No, I know when he just mentioned Rhaegal. I was saying there was no remorse for him. I was saying all we got is Daenerys saying my baby.
I remember that. It's a dinner. And then we have plans being made. We have this. Well, I'll get to that later. I don't want to talk about John and Danny and their little thing. We are going to have a long reaction to how that went out throughout the whole episode first. But let's just talk about the other thing. You got Danny's plans to go down south, and everyone's goodbyes. Obviously, we know you hated the goodbyes because of the ghost thing.
I must have missed it.
What?
Did they discuss why Danny and John's forces were going separately and why Danny's forces would be there so much quicker than John's forces?
No.
Okay.
I guess it's because only so many could go on a ship. Well, they kind of had to, so I'll give them a pass on that.
I feel like wouldn't it make smarter sense for Danny's forces to sail to Dragonstone, wait for John to get closer, and then they sort of try and time their, to get.
I thought that's what they were doing, and then Euron did an ambush on their way to Dragonstone. That's what I thought.
I can forgive that if that was the case. Then
I might just be making sense in my head. I didn't listen to behind the episode, so that might just be me making sense in my head of something that didn't happen.
Well, that would make more sense if that was the case. I could forgive it a little bit, but
yeah. So everyone said their goodbyes. LT, I know you hated all this. You had the goodbyes from the Ghost. You had the goodbyes with Jaime and Brienne. What did you think about goodbyes here as they went south? You had goodbyes with angry Sansa and Tyrion. You had goodbyes everywhere.
You knew that's what this episode was mostly going to be. So, the ghosting bothered me, but the others didn't really bother me. I'm still confused. We'll talk about it more, but I'm confused about what Jaime's going to do. Like, we'll talk about that tomorrow, but I don't know what the hell. Is he going there to be her, to try and save her? Is he going there to kill her? I don't know.
I assume that Jaime is going there to pretend like he's still with her and then try and kill her and choke her and fulfill the Valencourt
Yeah,
prophecy.
I'm gonna assume so because.
But
I
knowing
mean,
Dan and Dave, I can't assume that confidently. But
well, just thinking about Jamie, like he.
he seems like he moved on. Like it would be
Well,
fucking terrible if he went regression. He's
If
regressed
he,
so many
I'm
times in
saying,
this show.
in regards to his conversation with Brienne, it's just
Mhm.
I think that's kind of his defense mechanism to be like, he's pushing her away by being a dick, but he
Mhm.
doesn't. He I think he does truly like, he feels a different way, but that's just his defense mechanism. I think he's going there to do the right thing, but we'll see.
Mhm.
well, what if he walks in the throne room and Arya's getting ready to kill Cersei? Could he be conflicted and try and help her or something?
Well, I don't know. Well, we'll see what Dan and Dave have cooked up there. Do you smell what Dan and Dave are cooking, LT?
Yeah, I
Some
smell
bullshit.
it, and it's some bullshit.
Smells like
Smells
some
like shit.
sharks.
Smells like shit. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, what did y'all think about their plans? Like, let's talk about. You got Cersei's plans. You got Dany's plans.
Well, the plans were pretty. I mean, okay, so Cersei's plan is probably actually, well, yeah, getting all the people into the Red Keep and trying to essentially maybe make herself like a martyr and Dany look like a tyrant is probably not a terrible plan. Dany going, Mad Queen, saying, she'll do what it takes. Her plan's not as astute, but still, I mean, they're planning. The way they talk about planning in the show has always been not very thorough, which has led to some confusion.
LT, any thought?
I think Cersei's a genius. I mean, I guess you could give it the golden goose of the plan is Qyburn, because But I said if I was in Cersei's position a long time ago, I would put those scorpions all around the walls of King's Landing. It looks like they did that. I mean, I didn't see multiple of them, but it seems like they punked Daenerys in this episode. Like honestly.
I also just realized I I tweeted about it earlier and I forgot about it. Who the fuck is the Prince of Dorne? I want to know who this
Oh
Prince of
yeah,
Dorne is.
yeah. What the fuck?
It's Quentin. He's alive. He's alive. Quentin's alive.
But Jerry, if Quentin, if found out, if all this time Quentin was alive and he comes back and he saw the Sandstakes killed his family, don't you think he'd be mad?
They're all dead anyway, so whatever.
Oh, so like he finds out that the Nymeria and all them killed his father and then killed everybody else, and he's like, oh, okay, they got what they deserved. I'm the new Prince of Dorne.
I guess so. Yeah. But when they said who the Prince of Dorne is, did they mean the Prince of Dorne is aligned with Asha or the Prince of Dorne is aligned with Cersei?
No, with Dany. They're aligned with Dany.
Okay, they're aligned with Dany.
Yes, they said that they have pledged allegiance to Dany, but they didn't give a name.
All right. Well. Okay, so let's talk about this whole Jon Snow the Jon Targaryen thing. I mean, we had the scene with Dany and them where they're arguing. No one's talking about it could be a message. Then we have the Godswoods where he tells Arya and Sansa. Sansa betrays and tells everyone about it. Now Tyrion and Viserys Tyrion and Varys are talking about it, and Varys is somehow thinking that a marriage wouldn't work, but finally Tyrion mentions that. What is this whole thing with you guys? Is it just manufactured bullshit, or is it just?
To be honest, I wasn't really paying attention to it.
That was a huge part of the episode.
I was just like, on my phone while they were on it. I just didn't give a shit. But like I said, I actually I was listening to Varys' and Tyrion's conversation, and I don't know. I think Varys makes some sense. But I don't know. I don't know how the hell it's gonna turn out. I'm sure it's manufactured drama, and it probably won't matter in the end. So whatever.
I mean, why? I'll get LT's thoughts on this in a minute. I just want to know, why does Varys think that a marriage between them won't work. Like, why wouldn't ruling together work? Go for it, LT.
I don't think he thinks that it's not that the marriage will work. Is he thinks that Daenerys isn't going to bend to anybody's will, and she like.
My bad.
No, go ahead, because I'm having a tough time.
Yeah, essentially he was saying that Jon's a beta male, and that Dany's will is what is going to come out of that, no matter what. So it doesn't matter if Jon is a good man, they get married. It's not going to matter that Dany's going to be the true power.
So he's saying that Dany is like the Warriors, and that Jon is like Kevin Durant. Is what we're talking about.
No, Dany's a Sith Lord. It's either you're with me or you're against me.
So it is the Warriors. Draymond Green.
You're mad at your opinion, buddy. Not everybody's. That's your opinion.
Well, I guess what doesn't make sense to me is Varys saying that Jon is a beta, and that he doesn't have the will. But then he says, but I do think Jon would be a better ruler than Dany. I don't necessarily agree with his stance, because I do believe that if Dany was starting to get off the rails, Jon wouldn't just sit there and be a bitch about it.
That's what I'm thinking too. Like, you can't say he's a beta and then say be a good ruler. He's a good ruler. If he would be a good ruler, then he would be able to get his point across during the marriage. That's why I think this whole marriage, this anti-marriage thing is stupid. Like, you can't have it both ways. And then they want it always. They want it this way, they want it that way. Yeah. And we all know every one of their ways is shit.
They're confused because they don't have material to go on and say to come up with it on their own.
They just gotta have drama for these last. They gotta have something for these last 3 episodes, because they blew their load in episode 3. They honestly, this should have been reversed. This should have been reversed, but it's too late. Can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Let's talk a little bit about the stars. So mainly Arya and Sansa. So Sansa, I know you're agreeing with her. Do you think she's? Well, I think is Don really right? Was she scheming? What is Arya's deal? She wants to be the lone wolf now. Like, she's running off with Sandor Clegane. She's all depressed. I don't know what she is. I don't know what she's going on with her.
I think Don Willie was. She could be scheming a little bit, but I think his version of scheming involved Sansa being on the Iron Throne. I think she.
We don't know exactly. Yeah.
I think she has Northern interests at heart, and that she doesn't trust Dany. That's what it comes down to. I don't think she has this, nefarious plan for her to be on the Iron Throne. That's what I think. I don't want to put words in Don Willie's mouth, but I believe that's what he believes. But I don't believe that's the case.
Are they ungrateful? Are they ungrateful for all of Daenerys' help and after helping with this thing? They're just like, Daenerys, you didn't do shit. It was Arya with the Arya KO out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was kind of a dumb thing to say. They obviously owe a lot to Dany.
LT, what do you think?
Look, they do owe a lot to Dany, but Dany's being a spoiled little brat. You should let your soldiers heal. Like, look what happened.
Yeah. All right, so what is with is there any? I don't know. Y'all want to talk about everyone coming out of nowhere? Is it, like, how did they get like Euron comes out of nowhere? Missandei is like she's gone right away. Like, Grey Worm didn't even have 2 seconds to look around, and she's already captured.
Like, what I want to know is how did just Missandei get captured?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no one else got captured, but Missandei got captured.
And why did no one look for her while they were in the water?
So. Yeah. Also, Bronn came out of nowhere.
Bronn. There's another Bronn out of nowhere.
He was able to track them and came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
But
dude, he's carrying this big fucking crossbow, and somehow no one stops and says, "Hey man, what's up?" Hey man,
is it just me, or did it look like barely like 300 Unsullied behind them at the parlay?
I don't know. Probably.
It looks like a few, very few.
Well, in this last part here, the first thought that came out of my mind was there was a fucking plot hole, because Qyburn and Tyrion meet and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Tyrion's like, fuck this. He goes to the wall and talks to Dany. I didn't see Qyburn getting back into King's Landing.
They should have took him off.
Yeah, and after they killed Missandei, they should have fucking killed Qyburn or captured him.
Unless they're just respecting the parlay that much that even I think a Missandei killing.
Yeah, and then
parlay.
And when Tyrion walked up to Cersei, they should have held Qyburn there as leverage. If you kill my hand, we're going to kill your hand. You know what I'm saying?
And Tyrion should have ran his ass back.
And also they shouldn't have let Qyburn go back into King's Landing. So that's a plot hole in my opinion. Can't convince me otherwise.
We never saw King's Landing from this area, did we? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah. And then one thing I did notice was the Stark pin that Sansa put on Theon. I've never seen that before.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what about Pod? I'm not sure about Pod. Is he a virgin or not? Like when they said you haven't slept with anyone, he takes a drink. But then, did you notice that Pod that when Sandor was like he turned down that girl that she went with Pod and Pod had two girls on one on each shoulder or one.
Well, you remember back in season 2 or 3. They gave Pod the prostitutes for his reward.
I know. That's why I'm confused. What's going on here?
Dude, the Hound barked at that girl when she was trying to touch him.
I know, exactly. Hound, you're so brave. So, anyways, I guess any thoughts on the well, we already talked about Jaime Grant, so. But any thoughts on maybe anything? Let's start with this. Let me rephrase the question. Anything here tell you about anything that might happen in the book? So Jaime Brand is a possible thing. We don't really know because of Dan and Dave's love to just do whatever they want. So
I mean, I don't think it's far-fetched.
It's not far-fetched, which is why I think it's possible. But I don't know. I can't trust Dan and Dave at this point.
I think why, because I do think eventually Jon and Dany in the books will meet each other or be around each other, but I think this is the whole. I think possibly Aegon and Dany are meeting, and Varys is going to be the ones whispering in ears and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say something else. So you think? I mean, do you think this whole Gendry Arya shit is?
That could be. Gendry getting Storm's End. People have talked about maybe that's in the books. I don't think so. I think. I don't think it's out
of the realm of possibilities.
I think like an Edric Storm would get it before him, even though I think Gendry might be older. Edric is 2 nobles, whereas Gendry's just what do you call it? Just a commoner.
Well, so. I'm just saying I don't think it's like I don't think it's like a 0% thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's 0.
What are you guys talking about? Maya Stone's gonna get Storm's End. Come on.
Well, who's Maya Stone's father or mother?
I don't know who her mother is, but she shows everybody around the Vale.
Yeah. I think Edric because he's like a great.
Don't take that away from me, Jerry. Maya Stone's
gonna get this. Like remember how Aegon had all those bastards? Aegon the Fourth, the Unworthy, had all the bastards, and it was but only his great bastard. Like his.
Well, if Gendry ends up in the same situation in the books, Daenerys or Jon, if they're king or queen, could make him legitimize them, and then he does get it.
See, I'm still betting on Edric Storm.
I honestly think I want to because I like his that he's got the little warhammer, but I honestly don't think we're ever gonna see Edric again. But I hope so.
Let's see. All right, so I get 2 more questions. Just 2 questions to wrap up. Pretty generic ones. Any predictions for the next episode that you think will happen after what you saw from here?
I think.
I was gonna say I'm assuming it's gonna be the battle episode, and then the last episode's gonna be the aftermath and all the wrap up. So I think it will have a big battle, and probably some characters will die, and we'll never see them again. And the show is almost fucking over. That's
I
music to
think
my
when the Hound is gonna get killed by Gregor, the Undead Mountain, somewhere out of nowhere, Grey Worm's gonna come out and be like, "How?"
I'm sorry. If Grey Worm kills Gregor and not Sandor, that would be the dumbest fucking shit in the history of the world.
But it could be a save because.
But what if he does it like with the spear and he starts flipping like Oberyn Martell?
Yeah.
I'm just saying from a narrative standpoint.
Yeah.
Like if they were just like, we're gonna have Grey Worm have this big thing with Gregor Clegane just because he killed Missandei. Come on, like narratively speaking, it's Gregor Sandor always. Fuck.
Well, why would you put it past them with all this trash they're doing in the show?
It's a -10 if that happens for me.
Oh, the season's already a -10 for me with what they did killing the Night King.
All right, so last question. Just your overall feel from this episode. No score. Just say, good.
They took away from me with the ghost thing and the Prince Dorne thing, but they also gave back to me with that little action at the end. But yeah, no score.
Well, Don Willie said they call this episode The Last of the Starks. I'm calling it The Last of the Sharts. So.
All right, guys. Well, everyone, that's a wrap for our reaction, but we will go into further detail tomorrow. You know the time, about roughly 8 o'clock Eastern time, 7 Central. We'll have Don Willie with us, and hopefully more, and we'll break down the episode in a more detailed review. Until then, anyone got anything last to say? Otherwise, we're signing off.
Kuna Matata.
Kuna Matata. What about you? All right, guys. We are done, and y'all have a good one. Thanks for joining tonight. Stay classy.
Adios, everybody.